The Stepdaughter, the hidden truth revealed. Once upon a time in a small village in northern Nigeria, there lived a young girl named Amina. Amina was a kind and gentle child who always tried to do what was right. She lived with her father, Malam Su, who loved her very much. Her mother had passed away when Amina was just a baby, so her father did his best to take care of her. One day, Malam Su decided that Amina needed a mother to care for her, so he married a woman named Larai. Larai became Amina's stepmother, but she wasn't as kind as Amina's real mother. Larai had a daughter of her own named Zara, who was about the same age as Amina. At first, Amina was happy to have a sister, but soon she realized that life was not going to be as she had imagined. Larai treated Amina very differently from the way she treated Zara. She made Amina do all the housework, like fetching water from the well, sweeping the yard, and cooking the food. Meanwhile, Zara was allowed to play all day and didn't have to do any chores. If Amina ever tried to rest, Larai would scold her, saying, "You must work harder. You are not here to play like Zara." Despite the hard work and the unfair treatment, Amina did not complain. She wanted to make her father proud and tried her best to be a good daughter. But in her heart, she felt lonely and wished that her stepmother would love her as much as she loved Zara. As the days turned into months, and the months into years, Amina's life continued in the same way. She grew taller and stronger from all the work she did, but she was often sad. Her father was busy working in the fields, and he did not notice how poorly Larai treated Amina. One day, a big celebration was planned in the village. There was going to be a festival, and all the children were excited because they would get to wear their best clothes and join in the fun. Amina wanted to go to the festival too, but she didn't have any nice clothes to wear. All her clothes were old and torn from working so hard. When Amina asked Larai if she could have a new dress, Larai just laughed and said, "Why should I waste good fabric on you? You don't need to go to the festival. Stay home and finish your chores." Amina felt very sad, but she didn't argue. She watched as Larai and Zara went to the festival dressed in beautiful clothes, leaving her behind. Amina sat alone in the yard, trying not to cry. She wished her mother was still alive and wondered why her father didn't see how lonely and unhappy she was. As Amina sat by herself, a soft voice called out to her, "Why are you sitting here alone, my child?" Startled, Amina looked up and saw an old woman standing in front of her. The woman was dressed in simple clothes, but there was something special about her. Her eyes were kind, and she had a warm smile on her face. Amina stood up and greeted the old woman. "Good afternoon, grandmother," she said politely. "I'm sitting here because I have no nice clothes to wear to the festival, and my stepmother won't let me go." The old woman nodded and said, "I see. You have a good heart, Amina. You work hard, but you are not treated fairly. Come with me, and I will help you." Amina was surprised. How did the old woman know her name? And how could she help? But something about the woman made Amina trust her, so she followed her to a small house at the edge of the village. Inside the house, the old woman opened a large chest and took out a beautiful dress. It was the most wonderful dress Amina had ever seen, made of soft, shiny fabric that sparkled like the stars in the night sky. "This dress is for you, Amina," the old woman said. "Wear it to the festival, and you will see that good things happen to those who have a pure heart." Amina couldn't believe her eyes. She took the dress, thanking the old woman again and again. "But how can I repay you for this kindness?" she asked. The old woman smiled and said, "Just remember to always be kind and true to yourself. That is all the payment I need." With that, the old woman disappeared, leaving Amina alone with her beautiful new dress. Excitedly, Amina put on the dress and hurried to the festival. When she arrived, everyone stopped and stared at her in amazement. She looked so beautiful in her new dress that people began to whisper, wondering who she was. Even Larai and Zara didn't recognize her at first. But when they did, Larai's face turned red with anger. "How did you get that dress?" she demanded. "You were supposed to stay home and work." Amina didn't answer. She didn't want to get into trouble, so she simply smiled and joined the other children at the festival. Everyone was kind to her, and she felt happy and accepted for the first time in a long while. As the festival went on, Amina's father, Malam Su, arrived. When he saw his daughter looking so beautiful and happy, he was surprised. "Amina, where did you get that dress?" he asked. Amina told her father about the old woman and how she had given her the dress. Malam Su listened carefully, but he was puzzled. He had never heard of such a woman in their village. After the festival, Malam Su took Amina aside and said, "My dear daughter, I am proud of you. You have grown into a fine young woman despite all the hardships you have faced. But I must find out who this old woman is. There is something special about her, and I want to thank her for helping you."